Hello friends, welcome to a new video. A federal appeals court ruled Friday that most of President Donald Trump's global tariffs are illegal, dealing a major blow to the core of his aggressive trade policy. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit ruled 7-4 that the law Trump used when he imposed his most sweeping tariffs, including his reciprocal tariffs, does not actually give him the authority to impose them. The basic power of Congress to impose taxes like tariffs is vested exclusively in the legislative branch by the Constitution, the court said. Tariffs are a fundamental power of Congress. The appeals court stayed its ruling until October 14 to give the Trump administration time to ask the Supreme Court to reverse the ruling. Trump later attacked the appeals court on Friday as extremely biased and asserted that the Supreme Court would rule in his favor. If these tariffs ever go through, it will be a complete disaster for the country, Trump wrote in a Truth Out social post. If allowed to stand, this decision will literally destroy the United States of America. The president's tariffs are in effect, and we look forward to a final victory on this matter, White House spokesman Kush Desai said in a separate statement. Friday's decision is the second consecutive loss for Trump in the make-or-break case, known as VOS Elections versus Trump. The case was brought together from two separate lawsuits, one filed by a dozen states and the other by 5 small American businesses. It is the latest of more than a half-dozen federal lawsuits challenging Trump's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, to impose massive tariffs. For the second time in this case, a federal court has held that the president's so-called Liberation Day tariffs are illegal, said Jeffrey Schwab, an attorney with the Liberty Justice Center. This decision protects American businesses and consumers from the uncertainty and harm caused by these illegal tariffs, Schwab said in a statement. Today's decision is a powerful affirmation of our nation's fundamental constitutional promises from our founding fathers, particularly the principle that presidents must act within the rule of law, Schwab co-counsel Neil Katyal said in a statement. The Trump administration has argued that IEEPA effectively gives the president the authority to impose country-specific tariffs at any level he deems necessary to address a national emergency. In late May, the U.S. Court of International Trade rejected that position and struck down Trump's IEEPA-based tariffs, including his worldwide reciprocal tariffs. The ruling also struck down Trump's tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, which were imposed to combat alleged fentanyl smuggling into the United States. The Federal Circuit immediately stayed the decision while Trump's appeal was exhausted. But several appellate judges expressed deep skepticism about the Trump administration's arguments when they heard oral arguments in late July. In Friday's ruling, the court found that the challenged tariffs exceeded Trump's authority under IEEPA. Both anti-smuggling tariffs and reciprocal tariffs are unlimited in scope, amount, and duration, the majority ruled. These tariffs apply to virtually all goods imported into the United States, and, in the case of reciprocal tariffs, to virtually all countries, impose high rates that are ever-changing and exceed the limits set in the U.S. tariff system, and are not limited in duration. All 4 dissenters said they disagreed with the majority's conclusion on the question of the legality of the tariffs. And the dissent said the plaintiffs had not properly argued their case for summary judgment in their favor. The appeal was heard by 11 of the 12 judges on the Federal Circuit. The court's 12th judge, Pauline Newman, did not participate in the case because she is suspended from her duties through 2023. Newman, 98, has long been at odds with the court over a request that she undergo a cognitive evaluation to continue hearing cases. The appeals court's decision came as Trump's top trade negotiators urged the justices to consider subsidiary developments in the case, including an estimate by the Congressional Budget Office that the tariffs would reduce the U.S. deficit by $4 trillion over the next decade. Trump's termination of the tariffs imposed under IEEPA would cause widespread and irreparable harm to the United States and its foreign policy and national security now and in the future, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said in a statement to the court. Such a decision would threaten broader U.S. strategic interests at home and abroad, potentially lead to retaliation and the termination of deals negotiated by foreign trading partners, and derail important ongoing negotiations. Thanks for watching our videos.